Have you ever wondered why some people just can't get rid of toenail fungus no matter what they try? Or why treatments seem to only cover up the problem, but the fungus always comes back stronger? And here's the big question. What if the real issue isn't the fungus at all, but something much deeper inside your body? Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Nana, and today we're going to dive into how to truly cure toenail fungus and, more importantly, how to make sure it stays gone for good. Toenail fungus is surprisingly common. In fact, about 10% of the population, that's tens of millions of people, struggle with it at any given time. For many, it might just seem like an ugly, embarrassing inconvenience. But the truth is, if left untreated, toenail fungus can lead to serious complications. It can start in one toe, spread to the foot, and in severe cases even move further up the leg. So even if it feels like just cosmetic, we have to ask, what does it really mean? This is the question I often ask my patients. Does your health issue mean everything in your body is working perfectly? Or does it mean something isn't working right? Almost always, they recognize that a problem signals something deeper is off. And if that's the case, what should we do? Just cover up the symptom or fix what isn't working? The answer is clear. We must get to the root cause. Here's something I've noticed. When an explanation is too simple, people tend to ignore it. They think, oh, I already know that, and move on. But in reality, it's often the simplest truths that hold the key. In today's healthcare system, most people go to the doctor with a symptom, and what do they get? A treatment that manages the symptom, something to block or interfere with it. But here's the problem. 99.9% of the time, those treatments don't actually restore the function that's broken. So instead of asking, how do I cover this up? The better question is, what is interfering with my body's ability to work the way it should? Once you start asking that question, the mystery starts to clear up. The symptom isn't the real issue, it's the red flag telling you something deeper is off. And that deeper imbalance is what we need to fix. Now, let's think about microbes. We've all heard that microbes cause disease. But in reality, microbes are everywhere: viruses, bacteria, yeast, mold, and fungi. They live inside us as part of our internal biome, but they also exist on the outside, covering our skin, hair, and nails. That's completely normal, it's how the body is designed. When it comes to toenail fungus specifically, we're usually talking about three main culprits: yeast, mold, and fungi. The most common is a fungus called dermatophyte, which thrives on keratin, the protein found in our hair, nails, and skin. But here's the key. These microbes aren't automatically a problem. They don't cause the issue by themselves. Instead, they take advantage of an imbalance in your body. Think about it. If microbes are literally everywhere, why don't we all have fungus on every fingernail, toenail, and patch of skin? Why do some people get overgrowth while others don't? The answer is simple. Toenail fungus develops when your body becomes too attractive to these opportunistic organisms. And before you get too excited about being attractive, let me clarify. I'm not talking about being attractive to other people. That's still a good thing. What I mean is that your body is creating the ideal environment for pathogens to thrive. Fungus loves it when things are dark, moist, warm, and protected. And most importantly, it loves when your immune system is too weak or distracted to fight back. That's when toenail fungus takes hold. And understanding what makes your body too attractive to pathogens is the first step toward finally beating toenail fungus for good. In the next part, we'll break down exactly why these microbes succeed, what weakens your body's defenses, and how your immune system plays a central role in keeping them under control. As we learned in the last part, toenail fungus isn't really caused by the fungus itself, it's about your body creating the perfect conditions for those organisms to thrive. And now, let's dig a little deeper into how this actually happens and, more importantly, what you can do to change it. Think of your immune system as your body's little army of Pac-Men. These tiny defenders move through your bloodstream, hunting down invaders and keeping balance inside your body. But here's the catch. Your toes are about as far away from your heart as you can get. That means your immune system has to rely heavily on circulation, the flow of blood, to even reach the toenails. The further from the heart, the harder it is for those little soldiers to get where they need to go. And with weaker circulation, the pathogens gain an advantage. But circulation isn't the only factor. These microbes also need fuel to grow, and since they're living in you or on you, that fuel has to come from your body. And what do they crave most? Sugar. They thrive on sugar more than anything else. They don't do well with fat or protein, but sugar, that's their paradise. And it's not just toenail fungus parasites, harmful bacteria, even cancer cells all share this one thing in common: they feed on sugar. This also explains why toenail fungus is far more common on your feet than on your hands. Structurally, your fingernails and toenails are very similar, but your hands are usually exposed there in the open air, in the light, and they're rarely trapped in the same dark, warm, moist environment as your toes. On the other hand, your feet spend hours every day in socks and shoes, creating exactly the kind of protective shelter that fungus loves. Add weaker circulation in the toes compared to the fingers, and you've got the perfect storm for infection. Now here's something really important to understand. Toenail fungus is not a quick fix. You need patience. Why? Because nails, just like hair, do not heal themselves. Once a nail is damaged, cracked, or discolored, there's no way to repair it. That nail is already gone. The only real solution is to let it grow out and be replaced with a new, healthy nail. But how long does that take? Well, it depends. Fingernails can grow from start to finish in about 3 to 6 months. But toenails? They grow much more slowly. A toenail may take 6 to 18 months to completely regenerate, and that wide range depends on several factors. Your age plays a role. The older you are, the slower your nails grow. Your overall health matters too, because circulation and nutritional status determine how well your body can deliver the resources to build that new nail. And of course, if you've had poor lifestyle habits for years, it will take longer to see healthy growth. So the first step is to make yourself less attractive to fungus. That means changing the environment, lowering your blood sugar, improving circulation, keeping your nails clean and dry, and making sure the immune system has a fighting chance. But there's another piece: consistency. If you start making changes but slip back into old habits, you'll make yourself attractive again, and the fungus will happily return. That's why relapses are so common. Let's talk about blood sugar for a moment. The fungus isn't literally eating the sugar from the donut you just had, it's living off the sugar circulating in your bloodstream. That's why high blood glucose is such a gift to these organisms. They thrive in those conditions. But here's something fascinating. Fungi and other primitive organisms don't have complex enzyme systems like we do. They can't break down fats or proteins efficiently. They rely almost exclusively on glycolysis, the process of breaking down sugar for energy. That's their fuel. And when you understand that, the strategy becomes clear: starve the fungus of what it wants most. But lowering sugar is only one part of the process. There are also practical steps you can take for daily care. For example, trimming your nails short is essential. Why? Because long nails create a pocket of space underneath where dirt, debris, and moisture get trapped. That dark, moist pocket becomes a 5-star hotel for fungus. Keeping nails trimmed short and straight helps eliminate those hiding places. Just be careful not to cut too deeply into the corners, because that can cause ingrown toenails, leading to even more pain, infection, and complications. Another simple but powerful habit is brushing your nails. Take an old toothbrush, keep it in the shower, and when you're done bathing, use it to gently scrub underneath your nails. This helps remove trapped debris and clears away the gunk that fungi love. And don't forget to dry your feet thoroughly afterward. Fungus loves moisture, so leaving your nails damp after a shower is like rolling out the red carpet for them. Let me ask you this. Have you ever left a wet towel in a corner of the bathroom for a few days? It doesn't take long before it smells musty, right? That's fungus and bacteria thriving in the damp, dark environment. Now imagine your toenails being that damp towel day after day inside socks and shoes. That's why drying them carefully matters more than most people realize. So to recap the stage, strengthen circulation so your immune system can actually reach your toes. Lower blood glucose levels to starve the fungus of fuel. Keep nails trimmed short and straight. Use a brush to clean underneath the nails. Always dry thoroughly after showers or workouts. These aren't quick hacks, they're lifestyle habits. And when you commit to them consistently, you shift your body from being a perfect breeding ground for fungus into an environment where fungus simply can't thrive. But this raises another big question. If sugar is their favorite fuel, how exactly do you shift your diet and lifestyle so you're not feeding the fungus every single day without realizing it? In the next part, we'll break down the relationship between sugar, your immune system, and fungus growth so you can finally take back control. In the last part, we talked about how trimming, brushing, and drying your nails can make a big difference in keeping fungus from finding a home. Now let's take it a step further and talk about lifestyle changes that make your body a place fungus simply cannot thrive. One of the most overlooked habits is simply keeping your feet dry. After a shower, don't just towel off quickly and move on. Take the time to really dry underneath the nails, around the edges, and even between the toes. A paper tissue works great to get into those little spaces. And if you want to go the extra mile, use a blow dryer for a few seconds to make sure your nails are completely dry. Fungus can't stand dryness, it needs moisture like a fish needs water. The second major habit has to do with shoes. Think about it. Most of us wear shoes all day long. That means our toes spend hours in a dark, damp, enclosed environment, the exact paradise for fungus. Of course, you need shoes when you're out and about, but whenever possible, give your feet a break. Spend a few hours barefoot at home each day. Even better, go barefoot outdoors in the sunlight. Fungus hates the light, especially UV light, which is powerful at killing all types of pathogens. No germ, fungus, or parasite likes UV exposure, so sunlight becomes a natural, free treatment you can take advantage of daily. If you can't get outside, another option is using a UV lamp for a few minutes on your toenails. It's not a miracle cure by itself, but combined with the other steps, it gives your immune system a big advantage. But remember, drying your nails and getting sunlight is just the beginning. To truly rebuild healthy nails, you need to focus on circulation, delivering blood, nutrients, and oxygen to the area so a brand new nail can grow in strong. And the best way to kickstart circulation? Aerobic exercise. You don't have to run a marathon. Even walking is enough if you do it consistently. Let's say your resting heart rate is around 60. A brisk walk can bring it up to 110 or 120, that's nearly double. And when your heart rate rises like that, your heart doesn't just beat faster, it also pumps more blood with every beat. That means circulation to your hands and feet can increase fourfold. Keep walking for at least 20 minutes, and you'll start to feel it. Your fingers and toes get warm as tiny capillaries open up, delivering nutrients all the way to those distant parts of your body. Now, exercise isn't the only way to improve circulation. Another powerful tool is often ignored because it sounds too simple: breathing exercises and meditation. It might seem strange, how could sitting still and breathing affect toenail fungus? But here's why it matters. Your body runs on resources, and your brain decides how to allocate them through your autonomic nervous system. This system controls all the things you don't think about: your heartbeat, digestion, breathing, growing nails, repairing DNA. It works in two main modes: the sympathetic system, fight or flight, and the parasympathetic system, rest, repair, and healing. These two systems act like a seesaw. When one goes up, the other goes down. When you're under stress, your sympathetic system dominates. Your body thinks you're in danger, so it increases blood pressure, tightens blood vessels, and pulls circulation toward the core to deal with immediate survival. That's useful if you're running from a threat, but if stress becomes constant, your parasympathetic system gets pushed down. And that's the system responsible for digestion, immune strength, tissue repair, even things like DNA repair and long-term survival. So what does that mean for toenail fungus? When you're constantly stressed, your body is literally restricting blood flow to the periphery, your hands and feet, making it harder for your immune system to reach your toes. That's why something as simple as meditation, deep breathing, or relaxation exercises can be surprisingly powerful. By reducing stress, you allow your parasympathetic system to activate. That dilates the blood vessels, improves circulation, strengthens your immune response, and helps your body repair the damage needed to grow out a new, healthy nail. Think of it this way: stress shrinks the pipeline, starving your nails of blood and nutrients. Relaxation opens it back up, letting the healing flow freely again. And this brings us to a critical connection: what happens when stress, sugar, and circulation all come together, and how that combination creates the perfect storm for toenail fungus. That's exactly what we'll uncover in the next part. Earlier, we learned how circulation, breathing, and stress reduction can shift your body into healing mode. Now, let's bring everything together with some final strategies you can use, and I'll also share a few important cautions you should be aware of. One of the simplest home remedies people often talk about is soaking the feet. It might sound old-fashioned, but soaking actually has real benefits. You can use warm water with Epsom salts to help soften the nail and skin, making it harder for fungus to stay attached. Another option is apple cider vinegar. Its acidity creates an environment fungus really doesn't like. And if you've spent any time searching online, you'll notice there are dozens of variations of foot soaks out there. While they won't cure the root cause by themselves, they can support the bigger picture by making your toenails less inviting for fungus. Then there are herbal and natural antifungals. Oils like tea tree oil, garlic oil, or oregano oil are quite powerful. They're strongly antifungal and antibacterial. You can apply them carefully to the nail surface, and in some cases, they penetrate just enough to help keep fungal growth down. They aren't magic bullets, but as part of a broader program, they're valuable tools. Another interesting option that many overlook is homeopathic remedies. In my own office, I've seen some remarkable results. For example, I once had a small rash near my pubic bone. It wasn't serious, just a bit of itching after every shower, but it lingered for months. I assumed it was fungal or maybe even parasitic. After finally testing, we discovered it was related to metals and chemicals, not fungus. I was given 2 liquid homeopathics designed for detoxing metals and chemicals. Within one single day, the itching disappeared, and the rash completely cleared up. It had been there for months, and suddenly it was gone. Now, does this mean every case will be solved that easily? Of course not. With homeopathics, the real challenge is finding the right one for your specific issue. But don't underestimate them, they can sometimes do what conventional methods cannot. In the conventional medical world, there are more aggressive interventions. If a toenail is completely overtaken, one option is surgical removal. That means taking the nail off entirely so you can start fresh. For some people, this gives the body a chance to regrow a healthier nail under better conditions. Of course, it's not pleasant, and it's definitely not the first choice, but for severe cases, it can be effective. There are also prescription medications, with one of the most common being Lamisil. Now, here's where I want to be very clear. If you decide to try medication, always start with the topical form first. Creams or solutions applied directly to the nail might not be much stronger than natural remedies like tea tree oil, but they're certainly less risky than swallowing pills. Why do I say that? Because oral Lamisil is very harsh on the liver. Doctors usually prescribe it for several months, and during that time, your liver enzymes can rise significantly. That means your liver is under stress, and for some people, that's a dangerous side effect. If you ever go that route, you absolutely must monitor your liver health closely. That's why I consider oral antifungals a last resort option. And that brings us back full circle to the main point of this entire video. Toenail fungus is not just about the nail. Yes, you can trim, soak, apply oils, or even take medications. But unless you address the root causes, poor circulation, high blood sugar, immune imbalance, and chronic stress, you'll always be fighting an uphill battle. Think of fungus as an opportunist. It doesn't cause the imbalance, it takes advantage of it. If your body is strong, balanced, and supported with the right nutrition and lifestyle, fungus simply doesn't get the chance to take over. That's why everything we talked about, lowering sugar, exercising, breathing deeply, managing stress, and giving your nails the right care, works together as one complete program. So here's the bottom line. Don't just focus on the ugly nail you see in the mirror. Focus on building a body where fungus can't survive. That's the real cure, and that's how you make toenail fungus go away and stay gone. If you found this video helpful, imagine what else you can do when you truly understand how your body works. Toenail fungus may seem like a small issue, but it's really a window into your overall health. If you want more practical, science-based health tips that can change your life, make sure to like this video, subscribe to Senior Health Boost, and hit the bell icon so you never miss a life-saving video. Thank you so much for watching, take care of your health, and I'll see you in the next video.